Welcome to the Talk Like a Leader podcast, where we explore the mindset, skill set, and habit set of leadership communication. Using these tips, techniques, and tactics, you'll be able to talk like a leader to build better relationships and get more done. Your host is Guy Harris, who has more than 20 years of combined professional and military experience in consulting, coaching, and training in areas like team and interaction dynamics, communication strategies and tactics, as well as emotional intelligence. Take it away, Guy.
Hi, this is Guy Harris. Welcome to the Talk Like a Leader podcast. This week's episode is titled Speak to Actions and Results Rather Than to Character and Intelligence. This fits really in the category of coaching conversations or correction conversations or feedback conversations in terms of how you speak to the people on your team. And based on some things we've already talked about, series I did with Carl Smith and a number of other episodes in this podcast, probably you'll get the idea of what I'm about to make an explicit point of today. And still, I feel it's necessary to make an explicit point. So let's talk about speaking to actions and results rather than to character and intelligence. The idea is to avoid what's known as an ad hominem attack. Now, in the world of debate and philosophical discussion, there is a line of reasoning called an ad hominem attack, which is really an attack against the character or intelligence of the person in an effort to turn their argument. And I've heard it said in the debate world that ad hominem attacks are the last refuge of someone with nothing to say. I've also heard it said that ad hominem attacks are the last refuge of the ignorant. And I've heard it said that ad hominem attacks are the last gasp of a dying argument. The point is this: when we resort to attacking the person, their intelligence, their character, capability, it tends to indicate that we don't really have that much substantive to say, or that we haven't given much thought to our argument. So let's talk about how this applies in the realm of coaching, performance management, offering feedback, and why this matters. I'll tell a story about an officer I reported to the Navy. He was the ship's engineer, and he basically insulted the junior officers that reported to him on virtually every opportunity he had. Anytime anything went wrong, it's because we were stupid. Anytime anything went well, it's because he was smarter than us and was able to catch us before we made a stupid mistake. He was rarely able to give credit for what went well, and he was almost always willing to blame others when things went wrong. He had negative, really crude nicknames for every person that reported to him. He often did not call us by name, but called us by rude and obnoxious nicknames. All of these, if it were a debate, would fall in the category of ad hominem attacks. They were attacks on our intelligence. They were attacks on our character. They were attacks on our capability. And while I'm confident that he thought it was all in good fun, because he would tend to laugh when he did these things, and thought it was probably a joke, it really had a pretty negative impact on the team that reported to him. And one day we had a discussion in the engine room and something had gone wrong. He actually picked up a book and literally threw a book at me. It was quite a frustrating situation. And the impact it had on me and the other junior officers that reported to him was that we tended to avoid him, tended to avoid trying to have conversations with him of any substance. And we were afraid, frankly, to let him know when things went wrong. So it basically cut him out of the loop of having any productive dialogue with us. And I've heard it said, and I've actually experienced this, that you can often learn more from negative experiences than from positive experiences. So while I wish that I had only had positive experiences in my life, the truth is it's not true. I have worked for leaders who were terribly bad at communication, who resorted to ad hominem attacks, who attacked the people that were around them and yelled at people and criticized people rather than encouraging and supporting people. I'm not suggesting, by the way, that we don't confront, quote, bad behavior or bad results or inattention to detail. I'm not suggesting we don't confront negative things. What I'm saying is we don't have to attack the person because something went wrong. If we talk about the results and the actions rather than the person who got the results or took the actions, if we talk about how a thing was done and how we can do it better, then we're going to get better results when we interact with people. The more we can shift our conversation away from attacking the person and more towards discussing the problem or the outcome, the better our communication will be. I was having a conversation with my daughter one time, and I was trying to come up with a way to say this, and she said, Dad, it's better to prosecute the problem than it is to persecute the person. And so that's the idea of today's episode. The better we can get at focusing our attention on the actions that were taken or the results that were achieved, rather than the person who achieved the results or took the actions, the more effective our communication approaches will be. The more likely we are to draw people towards us to solve the problem collaboratively together, rather than run from us and hide information from us. The better we get at pointing out where things went wrong in an objective, descriptive way, rather than a personal and judgmental way, the better we will get at having effective leadership communication. So the tip for today is to remember to focus on results and actions more than you focus on the person, their character, and intelligence. If you can do that in your leadership communication, as you coach people on performance, as you try to offer feedback, as you try to correct and strive for excellence, you can talk like a leader. This has been the Talk Like a Leader podcast. You can listen to this show every week wherever you get your podcast. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'm Guy Harris, and thanks for listening.